Today we're looking at 10 gym leaders who are blatant cheaters. Now we're starting off with Viola, the bug type gym leader in Kalos. She's actually the first gym leader you encounter in that region, but her cheating doesn't start until later on in the game. When you challenge her for a rematch at the Battle Chateau, she brings out a level 40 Masquerain armed with Air Slash, a move that typically isn't learned till level 48 in Pokemon X and Y. Even worse, its prior evolution Surskit has no way of learning the move through breeding, meaning there's actually no way to get an Air Slash Masquerain at this level, at least in Pokemon X and Y. Now if you do want to be generous, she does get off on a technicality because in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Masquerain does learn Air Slash at level 38. I think someone saw the mistake and tweaked the rules a little bit. Next up we have Janine, also known as Koga's daughter. Now you might not have known this, but after Koga becomes an Elite Four member, his daughter Janine steps in for him as a gym leader. But filling her father's shoes proves to be a little difficult, because in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, she has the lowest levels of any Kanto gym leader. And her inexperience as gym leader might have led to her bending the rules a little, because in Pokemon Black and White 2, at the Type Expert and World Leader tournaments, she sent out a Crobat with the moves Hypnosis and Brave Bird. Now under normal circumstances, it should only be able to learn one of those moves by inheriting them through breeding, but no single Pokemon can pass down both. And because of that, her Crobat has an illegal moveset. I'm not sure about you, but I don't think this cheating would make Koga proud. After this, we have Elite Four member Sydney. Now gym leaders cheating is one thing, but when an Elite Four member does it, it's even more problematic. Now Sydney is the Dark type Elite Four member in the Hoenn region, and he certainly fits the vibe. I mean, he's rocking the fit, but he's also rocking an illegal moveset. His Shiftry at level 48 already knows Extrasensory, a move that it shouldn't be able to learn until a bit later down the line. Now this was patched in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, as Shiftry can now learn Extrasensory at level 36. Next up we have Clair. Now Clair doesn't have any illegal Pokemon, but she bends the rules in a different way. After defeating her in Pokemon Gold and Silver, she doesn't actually give you the Rising Badge. She just straight up refuses. She claims that you aren't worthy. Instead, she sends you on an errand to the Dragon's Den to pass some so-called test before she'll even consider recognizing your victory. Mind you, you just took down her entire team, you demolished her, but she still doesn't want to give you the badge for some reason. And to make matters worse, if you return the gym without completing her trial, she acts like your win never even happened. She acts like you don't exist. This surely has to be a violation of some rules somewhere in the region. I mean, if there's a commission on gym leaders, I feel like there's some issues we need to bring up. After this is Winona from Gen 3. In Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, Winona's Altaria knows Dragon Dance at level 33, even though it technically shouldn't learn it to level 40. This was later fixed in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where Altaria can learn the move at level 30, but in order to fix this issue, they had to reduce it by 10 levels. Now despite this, Winona still isn't off the hook because in her Black and White 2 tournament appearances, she uses a Trophius with both Leaf Blade and Curse. No breeding combination allows Trophius to inherit both moves at once, making this a clear case of cheating. Hopefully you use a Rock or Ice type in that battle to teach Winona a clear lesson. Next up we have Pryce, and Pryce might be one of the biggest cheaters we've seen so far because he has not one but 2 illegal Pokemon on his team. In Pokemon Stadium 2, Pryce's Tentacruel knows both Miracle and Reflect, again an impossible combination. Tentacruel can only get Miracle as an egg move in Generation 2, while Reflect was actually a TM exclusive move in Generation 1. There's no way to have both of them on the same Tentacruel. Meanwhile, in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, if you swap over, his Piloswine now knows Fury Attack at level 31. The problem? Piloswine doesn't learn that move until level 33. Now it's a small difference, but he cheated across 2 separate occasions. After this, we have Opal from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now Opal's gym challenge in Pokemon Sword and Shield isn't just about battling, it's also a pop quiz. And although she doesn't have any illegal Pokemon, she without a doubt bends the rules, because throughout her fight she asks you trivia questions, and your answers directly affect your Pokemon stats. If you get one right, you'll receive a stat boost. If you get one wrong, your stats are nerfed. Now you might be thinking, what's the problem? I can handle some questions. The issue is that her questions are pure nonsense. One asks for her favorite color, and even if you guess purple, the color that she's dressed head to toe in, she actually answers it's pink and you get your stats nerfed. I mean, it's completely messed up. She'll also ask you how old you think she is. And despite her being one of the oldest gym leaders in the game, She won't give you the stat boost unless you answer that she's 16. I mean, she's literally 88, but okay. Anyway, unlike some gym leaders who have some illegal movesets or some Pokemon that are of questionable levels, Opal just messes with the dynamics of the battle from the start, putting you at a disadvantage for basically the whole battle unless you can literally read her mind. After this, we go all the way back to Johto to Falkner. Now, Falkner is the first gym leader you meet in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. And he doesn't just cheat, he does it in an absolutely stupid way. His best Pokemon, Pidgeotto, is level 9, but the problem is Pidgey doesn't evolve until level 18, meaning this Pidgeotto should not even exist. It's 9 levels away from even coming into existence. If you're gonna break the rules, at least do it with something worth the effort. Like Lance has illegal Dragonites, I get that, okay? But a Pidgeotto? Come on. And this doesn't even make the fight a lot harder because Pidgeotto's pretty easy to defeat. It just makes Falkner look desperate. Now, if you believe what I said about Falkner, you'd actually be incorrect because upon doing further research, Falkner's Pidgeotto is not actually hacked. While Pidgey does normally evolve at level 18, in Pokemon Yellow you can actually catch a level 9 Pidgeotto. Credit to the Redditor who discovered this and cleared Falkner's name from cheating allegations. Next up we have Klara from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now technically Klara didn't cheat as a gym leader, she cheated before she became a gym leader, but the way she did it was so interesting that I had to include it. Now Klara and Avery from Pokemon Sword and Shield kinda stand out as the ultimate cheaters in the competitive scene. Now Klara mainly uses poison types, and Avery mainly uses psychic types. And what's unique about the double battle you have with them is that before the battle starts, they place toxic spikes all over the ground so that your Pokemon become poisoned immediately when the battle starts. Normally, this is a move you can use within the battle itself, but this is the first instance that I know of where the enemy uses a status move before you can even start the battle. It's 100% cheating and unfair because you have no way of preparing against it or switching out to a poison type or even knowing about this. After this, we have Elite 4 member Bertha in Pokemon Platinum. Now Bertha has a Rhyperior that shouldn't exist, at least not the way she's using it. At level 55, her Rhyperior knows Rock Wrecker, a devastating 150 power move with a recharge turn. But the problem is Rhyperior doesn't learn Rock Wrecker until level 75. Unlike some move legality issues that can be justified with breeding tricks or later generation fixes, there's no loophole here. Bertha's Rhyperior is straight up illegal and impossible to get, and what makes it worse is the move's power is 150. This is a move that could wipe out any one of your team members and it shouldn't have it. The only way it could have learned this move at level 55 is through hacking or some behind the scenes manipulation. For an Elite 4 member, I'd say this is pretty blatant cheating. And the last cheater on our list is none other than your own father, Norman in Pokemon Emerald. Now Norman's reputation as the normal type gym leader has come into question because his team is technically illegal. His Linoone comes equipped with Slash at level 29 despite the fact that it shouldn't learn that move until level 41. That is a whopping 12 level gap, far beyond the small mistakes seen with other gym leaders. While Slash isn't the most devastating moves, it's still a solid option. With 70 base power, perfect accuracy, and a high crit ratio, it still poses a risk to your team who's around the late 20s or early 30s in terms of levels. For a gym leader who's also your father in the game, you'd think Norman would set a better example, but instead he's out here cheating to gain an edge. I knew that Wally had the better father. Anyway, that was the video. If you liked it, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.